He slid divorce papers across the table with one condition attached. When my husband Jake served me divorce papers on our 15th anniversary, he didn't just want half our assets. He wanted full custody of our 12-year-old daughter Emma, claiming I was an unfit mother because of my anxiety medication. The kicker? He'd already moved his 23-year-old secretary into our guest house. Sign these, and Emma stays with me where she belongs, he said, tapping the papers with his wedding ring still on. Fight me and I'll drag this out for years. I was devastated, but Emma was everything to me. Sweet, brilliant, always drawing me little notes that said, "You're the best mom ever." She'd been my anchor through every panic attack, every dark day. The thought of losing her made me physically sick. But Jake had money, lawyers, and apparently a plan he'd been working on for months, so I signed temporary custody while we worked things out. That was 3 years ago. Emma called me every day at first, then every few days. Then Jake started screening her calls. She's busy with homework, or she's at a sleepover. The visits got shorter, more supervised. He'd hover, making snide comments about my episodes in front of her. Slowly, systematically, he was erasing me from her life. But here's what Jake didn't know. I'd been documenting everything. Every missed call, every canceled visit, every time he badmouthed me to Emma, and I'd been getting help, real help, therapy, medication adjustments, support groups. I wasn't the broken woman who signed those papers anymore. Last month, Emma turned 15, old enough to choose where she wanted to live. Jake threw her a massive party at the country club, invited half the town, posted photos everywhere of his perfect little family with the secretary now wearing my old engagement ring. Emma called me that night, crying, "Mom, I can't do this anymore. He makes me call her mom now. He says you abandoned us, but I remember, Mom. I remember how you used to read to me every night, how you'd make pancakes shaped like hearts when I was sad." That's when I told her about the folder. 3 years of evidence, screenshots of Jake's dating profiles from before our divorce, bank records showing he'd been hiding money in offshore accounts for 2 years, photos of him and the secretary at hotels while we were still married, and the big one, recordings of him coaching Emma on what to say to the court-appointed therapist. "Want to see something interesting?" I asked her during our next supervised visit. Jake was in the bathroom, probably texting his girlfriend. I pulled out my phone and showed Emma a video. Her face went white. It was Jake, drunk at his buddy's bachelor party last year, bragging about his master plan, how he'd been documenting my anxiety attacks, building a case, how he'd convinced Emma I didn't want her anymore, how the secretary was just temporary until he found someone more suitable for his image. Emma stared at the screen, then at me. "You've had this the whole time?" "I've had a lot of things the whole time, sweetheart." The next day, Emma walked into the family court with me, not with Jake. She handed the judge a letter she'd written, requesting to live with her mother full-time. Jake's lawyer tried to object, but then I stood up. "Your Honor, I'd like to submit some evidence." Jake's face went from confident to confused to terrified in about 30 seconds. The offshore accounts, the adultery evidence, the recordings of him manipulating Emma, 3 years of systematic parental alienation, all documented. The secretary wasn't in court that day. Funny how she suddenly had other commitments when things got real. Emma moved back in with me that week. Jake got supervised visitation and a hefty child support payment. The house he'd fought so hard to keep, turns out hiding assets during divorce proceedings is illegal. Who knew? Last weekend, Emma and I were making heart-shaped pancakes when she looked up at me and said, "Mom, I'm sorry I ever doubted you." I just hugged her tight. "You were a kid, Em. You believed what the adults told you. That's not your fault." Jake still tries to call sometimes. Emma just lets it go to voicemail. She's got better things to do now, like planning our mother-daughter trip to Europe with the money from his hidden accounts.